Firstly, Boris Johnson's a guy who's got a long history of talking in derogatory terms about minorities. He called gay people bum boys.
He said, let's remember this is a Sunday morning show. Well, we don't want to get into
this. No, we need context about what we're dealing with here. He's somebody who says if we're going to have equal marriage, then why not have three men marrying a dog? He's talked about black people as pickaninnies with watermelon smiles. He has a history of talking about minorities in this way. The context, though, is about anti-Muslim hatred, which is soaring in this country. In London alone last year, anti-Muslim hate crimes went up by 40%. We have a media which talks about Muslims in a derogatory way. So the Sun newspaper were forced to do a correction after their front-page newspaper said 1 in 4 Muslims have sympathies for ISIS, where the Times newspaper, our paper record, was similarly forced to do a correction after doing a false news story about Muslims. So the context is, when you have somebody in a privileged position, like Boris Johnson, using terms which, if you said in a workplace to somebody who's wearing a niqab, you would quite rightly face disciplinary, it would be seen as bullying, it would be seen as bigotry. That in the context where Muslims in this country are widely facing bigotry at the hands of politicians, the media, but in the streets, in the workplace, that legitimises those who hate Muslims, which is why we're seeing the increase in hate crimes.
Owen, isn't the point here not what he said, but that he can't say it and we can't have a discussion about it? That it's shut down.
You know, when people say we can't say this, we can't say that about issues which we spend almost all our lives talking about. You know, they say this about immigration as well. Look, we've spent the last few years relentlessly talking about immigrants, refugees and Muslims instead of the people at the top of society who plunge this country into disaster, like the bankers or the tax dodgers. But we spend all this time about a few thousand women who wear a niqab in this country. Just quickly, the right to have freedom of speech does not mean you can say what you want without consequence. Otherwise, I could call Boris Johnson the D word on national television. You couldn't even let me say how he described gay people without kicking off. Is that an attack on freedom of speech? Is that an attack on freedom of speech? No, you're saying that you're giving me a platform. I'm not necessarily entitled to this. You could kick me off if you wish. That's not an attack on my freedom of speech. You're saying that I have to use it responsibly.